Welthall, David Tuckman here for 88 Poker. It's Magic Monday, folks. That's right.
Oh, here we go. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, look at these hands.
Kings are good. We are heads up. The double elimination. I love double KOs. Whoa.
No, he calls, and it's going to be over.
I've got a keyword giveaway, Nick.
This is for another $109 ticket.
We're going to go with Madrid.
Type Madrid in chat. Type it. Wants to win.
There's a ticket. Oh, Banfield had a big one.
Oh,
Banfield.
The Jillians.
Oh, wow. What a run out. Hello and welcome to another magical, marvelous, magical Monday. That's right. Nick Welthall, David Tuckman here, courtesy of 88 Poker. It is the final table of that other tournament. That's right. The one that's more important. It's the Mystery Bounty main event, our weekly, and it is the final table. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Fantastically well, David Tuckman. Good to see you. Welcome back from your World Series of everyone shouting at each other adventures, as I've renamed it.
Yeah, lots of animosity going on, lots of polarizing opinions, as we say, but nothing polarizing here. It's all love. It's all joy as we have giveaways, free rolls, and tons of fun. That's right. Hop on board. It's going to be a lot of fun. I suspect we're going to have an amazing time tonight, Nick, I should say.
I hear that a lot, but yes, I think we will.
I like it. We've got a couple of big bounties left, not the huge ones, but a couple of $500 ones that are in there, which is certainly always interesting. Hello to all of you in the chat. We're going to start off with a fun game of when do we switch to big blinds? Completely random. You never know what's going to happen, but when will it happen today?
It's the greatest technology-driven mystery in the modern world. Beyond when do we get agentic AI is why does it switch to big blinds at a really random point?
Who knows? Well said. We've got a lot of giveaways. We've got a free roll. We got an all-in the call here. Ace-Deuce versus Ace-10. Looking for a 4-ball. It is not a 4, and the Ace-10 does double up. So DGR down to 2.3 million. Angler Fishy up to 800,000. Our chip leader in the top center, Ognian, 1988. Sorry, he's got aces.
I'd always be very worried about anyone that has fish or fishy in their screen name because they probably aren't. Definitely a concern. We'll keep tabs on that.
Yep, for sure. We definitely will. Angler Fisher, by the way, came to the final table as the short stack does double up there. And they've been on a pretty hot one. This is they made a final table just a few days ago. They finished third in a Mystery Bounty 22. Another all in here. Kings versus Aces. What a cooler.
Cooler.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate for SSSA 888, who is out in 8th place. Kings versus Aces. Not much you can do there. SSSA 888 will take home a grand total of $804. And we're down to 7. It's been fast and furious. We're like 3 hands in. We've had 2 all-ins. Haven't had a chance to mention the free roll, which begins in 27 minutes. Password for that is Jewel 888. Did not want to put the full July in there. We just want to put the JUL 888.
Just enough to be confusing and throw off the password thieves.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you put July, well, people are going to guess that, aren't they? But just JUL, tough.
Never get it.
Code. I dare you.
So how about Aaron Baroni at the World Series of Poker main event? Obviously the big story.
Shout out to Aaron Deep Run Baroni.
And Easty, by the way, we love to hate on the man. Obviously he is the most lovable, hateable, negative person you'll ever meet in your life. But the second time he has cashed the World Series of Poker main event. Well done, Easty. And of course, Aaron Baroni with a deep run into I think day 5, right?
Yeah, I think he was like 320th or something like that was his finishing position, which is obviously fantastic out of 10,000 more or less. So, I mean, we know Aaron's a quality player. And live doesn't take that much adjustment. And very well played to him. First of many big live cashes, I'm sure.
I got to spend a little bit of time with Easty and Aaron after one of the day 2 or something like that. And, and I actually commentated on Aaron as well. Aaron was at the featured table of the World Series of Poker on day 2, and I got to commentate on him in a little bit, which is fun.
Really fun.
Yeah,
Were you biased?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I didn't have to be, because he was really he was super cool. Like he was easy to really like him.
Nice.
He chatted, but wasn't too chatty. Like he didn't try to own the table, but he was talkative. He was social. He gave action. He was fun.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, all in the call here. River.
Oh, no.
Wow.
That's
6
disgusting.
on the river. That really is. Queens versus 6s. And we've got a runaway chip leader right now. Ognian, who came into the final table as our chip leader, had aces versus kings, won. Had 6s versus queens, won. Has knocked out both players. Did not win a big bounty, but has picked up 2 more. And has extended their chip lead. 49 FTT is out in 7th place. Undefeated.
They're going for, yeah.
That's good. Here we go. 49 undefeated has been defeated. They take home $1,500 for 7th place. Not bad.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, when you're a short stack, you don't have a lot of control, but it still doesn't mean it's not very frustrating to see that bink on the river. I mean, he's right back in it if it doesn't. Yeah,
this is going to be interesting. So we've got a limp from the cutoff and all in on the button for what is less than 10 big blinds. There's another all in over the top, and it's ace jack versus king 10. Open-ended.
And flush.
And he hits the backdoor flush.
Wow, nice trick. Nice trick.
So we've got giveaways for you as well. Not only do we have our free roll, which starts now in 23 minutes, but we do have 5 $109 tickets to give away during the show. And then, of course, 2 via the Wheel of Justice spin at the end. How's your summer been, Nick?
I mean, fantastic. We now live on Europe's Riviera here in the UK. Thanks to global warming. It gets a lot of bad press, but if you're British, it's really changed our lives. So we've had lovely weather. I've done lovely things, been to friends' weddings and watched some sport and played some sport, and it's all going very, very well. How many
hours of that tennis tournament over there on the in your country did you watch?
Of Wimbledon.
Yes.
You were probably pretty close until you laid out pretty much exactly what I did. Yeah. So the occasional exciting match early on, and then the semi-finals and the final. Yeah, that was basically it. But I always enjoy Wimbledon. And then a sport that makes no sense to you people. England won the cricket today, which distracted me from my work a lot. I don't know if anyone else in chat watched the cricket this morning and got distracted from their work, but that was awesome too.
Was it the 2021? Or the 5-day one?
It's a 5-day one, but it was a very dramatic finish, and we won. And if everyone could just focus on this summer being the summer of Benny Glaser and not certain other UK poker players, then that would be amazing.
Absolutely.
He can be our UK ambassador, and no one needs to ever talk about any of the others, particular ones again.
There are so many amazing British ambassadors to poker.
Yes.
Yes. If we never have to mention, I feel like it's almost like Harry Potter, the name we don't mention.
Indeed.
By the way, that particular person not only was knocked out, had a great run in the main event, but got 86th from the World Series of Poker. Was told thank you for your patronage. You're no longer welcome here, and I'm wondering if that was just a this year thing or an every year thing now going forward.
I read that it was just this year. I think lifetime ban would probably set quite a bad precedent, wouldn't it?
I don't think you need to make it a lifetime ban, but I think you can make it a TBD ban. Like you're banned this year, and if you want to come back next year, you need to chat with Jack Effel and let us know why we should let you back here.
We've gone to big blinds early, David Tuckman. No one knows why, but it's happened on the 10-minute mark. Quantum Criminal said 11 past. They're going to win the prize tonight. Well done, Quantum Criminal.
You have won.
on a quantum level.
Yes, you have
Tell
won
them
an
what they've won.
adapter. An adapter. When I see you next, Quantum Criminal, I will give you this amazing adapter. Look at it. It's fancy.
Wow, it looks like you could travel to different regions with that, David, and still
You
get
could-
power to your appliances.
You could time travel with this.
So good.
It's so good.
Quantum Criminal says it's what they've always wanted. I mean, that and the glory of winning, what a combo.
Absolutely. Let's see what Angry does here. I mean, you've got, well, now it's an easy play. You're going to raise this. You can just call against the chip leader. You'd hate to raise and then get 3-bet. The problem is, the thing is, since you have the ace of hearts, you're very unlikely to be 3-bet. So I think you can probably raise in that particular spot because you're just going to get value from some weaker aces.
Now, do you want to talk about the Will Kassouf situation, or do you not want to talk about it?
No, I don't mind actually talking about it because you and I feel like this show in particular is a really good spot. It's a good place for us to kind of like focus on the poker when the poker's there and also kind of talk about current events in poker world.
Sure.
Good news, by the way. Yes, Benny Glazer. What an amazing series for him. Everything good about poker. I love Benny. Love everything about him. Also, he was in my 888 ride.
Awesome.
You can watch it. How about
cool, yeah, check that out.
How about the first woman, only the second woman to ever make the World's Poker Final Table, second woman in the first woman in the modern era to do it.
This is the most exciting thing because the most impactful thing that could happen to poker would be complete legalization in America. That's the most impactful thing. I think probably the second most impactful thing, if you just had one thing, would be a woman winning the main event, because that woman, that lady, would get unbelievable amounts of publicity.
And this particular one, Leo Margits, by the way, is she's
great player.
She's a great player. She's a great person. I know her personally. I've hung out with her. Great person. She would be a great ambassador for the game. You know what I mean? All women are not created equal, obviously. All men are not created equal. In terms of who would make a great ambassador for the game.
Yeah.
She would.
Yeah, absolutely.
She would be absolutely fantastic. Great Spanish player.
Yeah, we're very excited for that. Completely randomly, I played poker with her on the first day of the first World Series of Poker main event I ever played. She was at my table.
How great is that? Wow.
just random. And I didn't know she was a professional player, and she was making very big bets and raises, like really unconventionally big. And I thought, I can remember vividly a couple of the hands. I thought, that's really interesting. I wonder why she's doing that. It took me ages to figure out that she was, really good. And knew what she was doing.
You're right. You probably thought maybe she's a fish. It's a good lesson though, because I think a lot of us, you see somebody do something unconventional, and we immediately jump to, oh, they're not very good. How about a full house here for Angry?
Yeah. Although me and you have a certain advantage where, because we're live cash game players, if you see a lady player, you have a different reaction to a lot of people. I think where you think, oh, it's a lady player playing in a 10K event. Probably they know what they're doing. Right. As opposed to if a man was doing that, I would have been a bit more skeptical.
Without a doubt, open-ended here and drawing dead. Does let it go on the paired board. Pretty wise. And Angry now up to 48 big blinds. Still chasing Ognian. So she would be a great ambassador for the game. And she's got chips, by the way.
She would be phenomenal. Yeah. She's fourth, I think, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, but there's no runaway. Like the chip leader has like 65 big blinds. The short stack has 15, but there's like 5 players with 50 big blinds. Those are 2 great stories. The grinder, Michael Mizrachi, another great story about the World Series Poker. He won the 50K Players Championship for the 4th time, unprecedented, and now he is looking to win the main event. If he does that, it's just insane. To win the 50K Players Championship and final table the main event in the same year. Just absolutely insane. The grinder, by the way, has been a friend of 888 Poker many times, has joined us on many of our 888 live events, whether I know in Barcelona, he's been there a couple of times. So really cool dude. Also has been part of the 888 ride group. Yeah,
cool dude, but also a really interesting player, I think, because I don't know anything about his study habits or anything like that, but he definitely is a player who has his own thinking. Do you know what I mean? He takes his own lines. He's not going to chat GTO with you. He does definitely play up to the I don't know quite what I have to describe the image, but like I'm a gambly, splashy, whatever dude when actually, obviously, he's a very high level player. So he's a really interesting poker player, I think.
He is incredibly. I have had the privilege and pleasure of not only being in like doing a podcast with him, but I've also commentated on probably like 5 of his final tables. One of the 50K Players Championships that I commentated on, we thought it was going to be like a 15-hour affair. He finished out the entire table in like 2 hours. It was just like, he's just a machine. He can be gambling and splashy, but he knows when to pick his spots. He knows when to take his foot off the pedal. I think you describe him right. You know, while he obviously understands the technical aspects of poker, he really relies on his ability to read his opponents, not just what they have, but also their risk threshold. Like he understands, like, okay, that particular player is playing careful. Okay, well, I'm going to put my foot on the pedal. Then I'm going to make this person really have to have a big hand. And he's so dangerous. We got a big hand here. Ace Queen versus 9s. I think Ace Queen probably too much hand to fold here, but we'll see what Angler Fishy does.
Yeah, only 1 stack shorter than them, and this is the chip leader as well, so you can give them a little wider range. I think I agree with you, it's too strong to fold in this spot.
Yep, does make the call. Ace Queen versus 9s. Ace and a Queen. 9-ball corner pocket. No, and a double up here for Angler Fishy, who, by the way, has done nothing but double up this final table. They came in as a short stack, and they're now in 3rd place, very comfortable at 38 big blinds.
So that's all the positive stuff at the World Series.
Yeah, that was, and listen, it was a blast. I got to commentate 4 days of the main event. So much fun. It is, you know, without, it's the best tournament in the world. And it's such a good time. And yeah.
So, chat, please feel free to give us your thoughts on any of the World Series stuff, including Will Kassouf. Obviously, neither of us enjoy Will Kassouf. Let's get that out there. So if you do enjoy Will Kassouf, give us a different viewpoint in chat. Oh, wow. Look at this play from Orignian.
Wow. Looking for a queen or an 8, not drawing dead. Jack of hearts, and my gosh.
Wow. I mean, it's not completely crazy. It just looks completely crazy.
Well, it's not crazy because it works a lot of the time. It's just one of those situations, and we'll get to it in a second here. Ogni in 1988, he is gone, or they are gone. Angry picks up $140 in bounty. They're our chip leader with 93 big blinds. Huge. Ognian, by the way, was our chip leader, had eliminated 2 players, does take home about $2,100, maybe $2,200 when it's all said and done. And I think it's not a surprise to see how they get their chips and how they lose their chips.
Yeah. Obviously, crazy aggressive. It's one of those plays which just puts unbelievable pressure on the big blind that's 3-bet, but at the same time, it has such a massive downside if you run into a hand.
I mean, that was that like kind of button, big blind dynamic where like, you know, the player on the button's like, you don't believe that I have a hand because I'm on the button. And I don't believe that you have a hand because you're doing this just because I'm on the button. And turns out they had a hand. So, wow. What a turn of events there. Ognian, who had 65 big blinds like 48 seconds ago, is out, and we are 5-handed. So we do want to know, what do you think in the chat of everything going on at the World Series of Poker? But we do want to just touch on the William Kassouf issue. I certainly understand the point of like, poker players are by and large can be boring, and you love table talk and you like animosity, and that's all fun. But I'm intrigued to know, was it too much for you? Do you can't stand the guy, or do you actually love him?
So Brent says, I think the speech play is fine. The stalling was horrible. Leo says Cabrella's okay, annoying but respectful. Kassouf is offensive. And then also Aguri says the leave 1 chip behind. We have to talk about that as well. I think they'll just correct that. I think they'll just correct that with a rule change. I think the 1 chip behind thing is quite easy. They'll just say you can't stall if more than 50% of your chips are in the pot or something. I don't know. But there's 2 bigger problems, I think. So the first big problem is time in live poker tournaments and how that's handled. So that is a very endless debate, which we can talk about if you want. And then the other problem to me, as we see Angry take down this smaller pot, the other problem to me is like, what are the rules and how are the rules policed? Because tournament poker is still a very young sport. Like when I started in poker, tournaments weren't even really a thing outside of a few World Series events. And then they have blown up to be all of poker. So it's still a very young sport. And the rules still aren't completely nailed down. And you still have this situation where tournament directors just have this really wide latitude as to what the penalties are and what they're not. And so you had a situation where Will Kassouf pissed everyone off to such a large extent that he was on like a 10-second decision clock all the time, I think, or a 30-second and then a 10-second. And obviously, these decisions are for
Hold on a second. Hold that thought. I had a feeling this might happen here. You've got ace 10 versus ace king, and really unlucky for GGR because they read the situation. Yeah, they read the situation correctly. They realized the chip leader was going to be raising light. They 3-bet all in with ace 10, and unfortunately for them, the player in the big blind wakes up with ace king. Good news for Dario Toma. Bad news for GGR, who's our short stack. Continue, Nick. I'm sorry.
No, I think I'd finish the point, which is like there's just a lot of latitude in what the penalties are and how they're applied, which makes it very difficult because it makes it very subjective. And there's a lot of you know player influence in that. I don't know.
I mean, there's a
situation.
Yeah, there's also there's a saying in sport, and I'm going to just lump poker in. I don't want to get debated whether poker's a sport or not, but for this argument, we'll just say it is, because there's a saying in sport that if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? Always push your edges.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. How do we push our edges, right? You know, whether it's a football match, we're going to get another all in here, by the way. Angry all in from the small blind. Gabor with 16 big blinds.
Isn't the short stack though, so they do fold.
They do let it go. Still 5-handed here. So there's a saying, you know, always push your edges. Where can you find? And I think you can extend that to poker because anytime you're playing for large sums of money, players will always try to figure out, well, how do I gain an edge?
Yeah.
Right. And the players are smart, really, and they're very smart. And for poker, it's really hard for poker tournaments and these series, 88 live events, World Series, all of them, to stay one step ahead, right? Because we're constantly being very reactive. Oh, this happened. The one chip rule happened. Okay, we'll do this, right? Every time that a player, or every time that it looks like, oh, a player can do this as an angle, well, we'll fix that. But then the players are always finding new ways to kind of push the edge and get an edge. So it is difficult. I always look at it this way. Somebody actually mentioned this. Igor Kurganov, Liv Boer's husband, I believe.
I don't think they're married, but partner.
They're not partners. Sorry, partners for like a million years. He mentioned this, and I thought it was really pretty apropos and well said. And he just said, he was like, think about the edge that you're taking, because everybody's like talking about what I Caxton did, right? Where he held one chip and then stalled for 6 minutes, right? Or, you could look at the William Kassouf thing and go, well, he's not doing anything against the rules. And I always kind of look at it this way. I go, if what you're doing was done by everybody, what would happen to the game?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it was a very simple way to look at it. It's going, okay, you're trying to gain an edge. Totally awesome. I love it. But if everybody did what you're doing, what happens to the game of poker?
Yeah.
And the actual fact of the matter is, if everybody did what Caxton did, and if everybody did what William Kassouf does, the game would die. Mm-hmm. Nobody would want to play it.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, you'd say, okay, well then clearly we need to fix that.
So Angler flats with the aces here after the 3-bet from Angry, and Angry's going to decide whether to keep bluffing here or not.
Yeah, it's not a terrible board to bluff at. I mean, when you get 3-bet and you just call, you start thinking of the hands you have, and it's like, king queens, queen jacks, You figure if they had nines, tens, jacks, queens, or something like that, they would 4-bet all in, right? So, but keep in mind, there is a 3.6 big blind pot player in there. So you wouldn't expect somebody to be slow playing a huge hand. Wow, Anglerfishy really slow playing this. Doesn't bet the turn either.
Yeah, I mean, given if they knew what angry he had, they couldn't have played it too much better because they have absolutely nothing. So,
yeah, time to bet now if you're Anglerfishy. I thought Angry might go for it on the river, just figuring they've got a 4 in their hand. They can maybe represent. Can they get their opponent to fold some sort of weird hand? But obviously it would not have worked. And Anglerfishy now up to 48 big blinds. Angry still our chip leader on 55 big blinds.
So Astrotrash says, I for one tend to stay away from questionably behaved people. Not sure why you're watching these two hosts, but thanks for your changing your rules. Stinky says Kassouf could play with a gag. That would work. You'd still hear him. Ex-Merciless said, I like watching Kassouf on the highlight show, but a headache watching him live. Yeah, I imagine being at the table. Bougie says Kassouf is obnoxious, but he did walk away with 300k. True. I don't know whether that makes it any better. Somebody else said sometimes poker has a problem where it fails to tell the difference between something that's good for right now versus something that's good for the game generally. And so it's like, okay, we can watch this now and it's a bit more entertaining than GTO nerds not saying anything. But if this was every poker broadcast, like people just endlessly stalling and endlessly chatting shit, the game wouldn't be watched by anybody, and you're certainly not going to grow it because it's just very tiring, and you're going down a path of kind of shock value, and the shock wears off, and then it's just boring.
Right. I'm curious how CBS Sports and Poker Productions edits the shows, because obviously in a live stream, to your point, everybody, very, very difficult to watch somebody that in live stream because it's live. We have no idea what they're going to do. They switch things up, but the edited show is clearly not going to show a 10-minute tank. They can't do that. That's not. So do they end up actually showing it in a way that makes William Kassouf far more entertaining? Because it's just, you only get a little dose of him, and people who don't know are watching that going, what's wrong? He's got personality. I like it. But only realizing that he's not making it enjoyable. I also think there's a problem as this too. Bluff here from Angry, obviously not getting through. And suddenly Anglerfishy going from the outhouse to the penthouse is our chip leader with 70 big blinds. What a turnaround. Yeah. I do think there's another path you can kind of go down when you start thinking about all this is what is good for the viewing audience, live streams, post-production shows, right? And what is also just okay to play with. I mean, I think sometimes we forget about the fact that all these poker players put up $10,000 to play the main event, right? We got an all-in here, ace-5 versus queen-6. Wow. Well, I mean, when you have 3 big blinds, I guess the chips are going to go in.
Right, exactly. They've got a straight draw or something.
Yeah, DGR had a straight draw. Angry up to 40 big blinds, picks up an extra $54. Meaning, by the way, of the last 4 players in, I believe 2 of them have $500 bounties. Anyway, my point being, what's good for the live stream, for you, me, and all the fans sitting at home watching the show or broadcasting it, and what's good for the players who are playing it? Because can you imagine how awful it must be for the players who put in $10,000, are playing for $10 million up top, and have to deal with playing with a gentleman like that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's very difficult. And you don't want to ban speech play overall, but you do want it to be you also don't want to have, as you've just suggested, an unwelcoming environment. Like if you put yourself, like you just made a very good point, I think, Dave, where if people in chat, if you think about this, it is very different to watch something and think, oh, that's quite funny. Oh, I liked it when Tony G called that person a name or whatever. It's very different if you've paid money to play the biggest tournament of your life and then this dipshit is just bullying you and talking relentless garbage. Like, why have I just spent $10,000 or invested $10,000 to have this
and
experience?
You're trapped. And by the way, you're trapped. You're
Yeah.
trapped. You can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You're not allowed to. By the way, you're not allowed to wear headphones at the feature tables. Got an all in the call here.
Here we go. This is
Neither player with a club.
Final table.
It really is. Anglerfishing going to make trips and eliminate another player. Gabor gone in fourth place. Nick, I'm starting to panic a little bit. Should we have giveaways?
We should.
Okay.
Let's have giveaways. Just as the free roll starts,
Boom, $500.
Oh, big one. Make sure you're in the free roll, 888 Poker TV, special streaming free roll on the site. The password is JUL888, July 888. And we're giving you $109 tickets, as ever on Magic Mondays. Never more generous than here on Magical Mondays. I've got a question for you, David, if you'd like one.
Yeah, I have one for you as well. So we're look at us preparing. We've done the prep. I like it. Go ahead. We're going to give away 2 tickets on this one, guys.
We're going to make 2 tickets. And kids, Hayden's running the contest in chat. No line this week. So, all I'm saying is watch yourselves because he's not a patient man. Lime's actually quite lovely as a person. Hayden is he's a disciplinarian. So behave. 1 guess per player only. 1 guess per player. You're trying to guess what David thinks the answer is to this question. What does David think the answer is to this question? Whoever's closest wins. 2 unique values because there's 2 $109 tickets. If you have the same value as somebody else, whoever's first owns that number. Good luck to you. David Tuckman, how many times in Will Kassouf's live poker career has he had the clock called on him? How many times in Will Kassouf's live poker career has somebody called the clock on him? Good luck to you. Good luck to David Tuckman.
My answer's in.
That was very fast. You followed his career closely, I see.
Unfortunately, yes, I have. Well, I had to count. I know it was 6 times in one level on Poker Go. So I was like, okay, and then, yeah.
What would you do with time in tournaments? Because I really think the players calling the clock is a completely ridiculous way to run it. And it comes from cash games where it makes a lot of sense. So the reason it works in cash games is obviously there's no rising blinds. So the players are pretty democratic about this. They give people time to make big decisions, but if it's unreasonable, then a clock is asked for. And that's where it comes from. But it doesn't really fit in tournament poker, I don't feel like, because time is shared and a precious resource.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. So I've heard a couple of ideas. I used to be in favor of a chess clock. I know you're a big chess player. So
right,
I used to be in favor of
everyone has their own time.
You have time, and we have ways to. The technology is there. It wouldn't be all that difficult to. I think from a practical standpoint to figure out how to do it. So I was in favor of that, where everybody has a set amount of time. So if you don't waste time pre-flop, then you'll have plenty of time for tough decisions later on. One of the arguments against that, and I'm actually kind of on board with this now, is I think it is unfair to the players who are more active and probably encourages players to be tighter. Because if you're playing more hands, you're obviously in more situations, you're using more time.
Right.
And I never thought about that until somebody brought it up, and I said, that makes a lot of sense. I go, for somebody like Michael Mizrachi, whose VPIP is 35, and somebody else's VPIP is 11. Well, the player with 11 just has all the time in the world, and Mizrachi might not even be slow, but might actually be racing by the end of it all. I just think you've got to do. I think you have a shot clock. Matt Savage hates calling it a shot clock. Call it an action clock. We do it at 8 live events. I don't see any reason for why not to do it. I think you have that, and you have time extensions. I think it's just a really easy thing to do. It's, as far as I'm concerned, 15 seconds pre-flop on your initial decision, and then you get 30 seconds after that. So if there's a 3-bet and it comes back to you, you get 30 seconds. Post-flop, you get 30 seconds to act on your hand, and you have time extensions, and you can be granted a certain number of them, every few levels. You can figure out exactly how to make it work. But I think it's probably the easiest and fairest way to do it.
Here we go on our feature table with ace king raising a small blind, but this is three-handed poker, so ace jack suited is massive here in the big blind.
Oh, the chips are going in. This is absolutely disgusting for Dario. Really unlucky. Dario Toma, who has locked up $1,300 in bounties, by the way. Looking to make their biggest score of the year. Needs some help. Oh, hello, Jack. Can they fade the river? They can. And Dario Toma.
Wow.
Up to 58.5 big blinds. Angler down to 55.9 big blinds. I thought for a second we might be done with this tournament before the break.
We could have set a record, in fact, but now we've got a much more competitive situation.
Yep, absolutely. But I think that's probably the simplest way to do it. Like it's pretty, I think it's something that's done in a lot of tournaments now. Again, I pointed out 888 Live, we do it.
I don't think there's any such thing as a perfect system for this because it's such a weird game from that point of view, isn't it? You have a ticking clock, the blinds rise, which, stimulates the action in a tournament, but people think about decisions for completely contrasting amounts of time. It's a very strange dynamic. I think the action clock and time banks is potentially as good as we're going to get.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, unfortunately, we're going to have to be reactionary because poker players are smart and there's a lot of money up for grabs. So players are always going to try to figure out how to get an edge. The one chip held back thing, you can very easily make a thing where, like, listen, if you put more than 80% of your chips in there, you've got 30 seconds. That's it. But if you just make it 30 seconds every decision, there's no real worry. That's it. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, you're slightly changing the character of the game, aren't you? If you're too tight with the time, but that's just a debate over how much extra time players get. It doesn't really matter.
And listen, if you want to make it at the World Series of Poker main event, right, where there's $10 million up top, if you wanted to extend it to go, hey, we're going to give you a minute per decision. 15 seconds pre-flop, but a minute per decision, which is still a ton of time, by the way. I'd be okay with that. It's the 10-minute decisions where, like, there's no decision to be made. And I will say, for what I've seen, at least in the 4 days I was commentating, and I got a handful of events, and you and I obviously have done a bunch of 888 Lives, the pace of play, for the most part, is so much better than it was even 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was one of those things, wasn't it, where a lot of very high stakes players started standardizing the amount of time they took, which meant taking longer because they wanted to allow time for when they had a difficult decision. So they all started playing much slower. And then it seems like that filtered down to other levels of player who just copied them. And now that phase seems to have gone away, I think, which is good. So we got winners, David Tutman.
Winners! I love winners. What did you ask me?
I asked you, Will Kassouf is famous for his witty banter and jovial spirit at the poker table, but it can go on a bit too long sometimes, we see a cooler for a flop. I asked you how many times has Will Kassouf had the clock called on him in his poker career?
You did ask me that. Well, let's just see this hand really quick, and I will answer it, and we'll give out the winners. Flush draw here versus two pair. Very wet board. See if Anglerfishy wants to raise right away or just kind of play it a little bit coy. They're going to raise right away. Dario has to think about what they want to do. They do block hearts, but Jack 10, 10-9. Lots of hands out there are certainly interesting. Not the turn card you love to see if you're Anglerfishy, but I don't think you're all that worried about it. You still beat all the queens. You beat all the draws.
I was just going to say I can see a lead here.
Well, yeah, after the check raise, why not? I think it's great.
I can see a lead here just because you could even lead smaller just to make it really inducing and confusing because you don't have that many chips to get in. But anyway.
Anglerfishy wins that. Okay, so I know they mentioned that the clock was called like 6 times in just like 1 2-hour level, right?
Yes.
So, I started to like think about that. I know he made a deep run like 8 years ago. And this run, and I assume that he plays in Europe a little bit here and there, obviously. And I added them all up, and I came up with the number of 1,185 times.
1,185 times. That's an enormous amount of clock calls for one person. Most of you in chat were low. You did not think what David thinks, but I can report that David got it exactly right.
Ba-boom.
Well done, David Tutman. He got exactly what David thinks on the button. Well played to you, sir. And well played to Noodaloo, who said 1,069. You win a $109 ticket. And Emilian623, who said 999. You win a $109 ticket. Well done, winners. We've got 3 more to give away and then 2 on the Wheel of Justice after the tournament has finished.
Yeah, I have an amazing question for you, but I'll wait. I'll wait on this one. Congratulations to our winners. That's awesome. Free roll, by the way, has begun. Registration is still open. Top pair versus middle pair. Neither player with a diamond in their hand. Again, the password is JUL888. No spaces. $500 in cold hard cash being given away in that. So get involved. 4th diamond out there.
Yeah, it's probably just going to kill the action. Go ahead.
I would imagine so. I think you hit the nail on the head in the sense that, like, when you look at cash games compared to, like, in a cash game, it's just annoying.
Right.
If somebody takes a long time. But in a tournament, you're literally you're not only making the experience less enjoyable, but you're taking from somebody else, by the way. I mean, it's kind of what somebody brought up with Caxton when he held one chip back and then tanked for 6 minutes. And it happened a couple of times.
Yeah, I don't think he was even the worst offender, was he? There was a guy on stream who did it for even longer, I think.
Yeah, there's a monkey see, monkey do. Well, the problem is that people at the table were like, well, people are getting knocked out. This doesn't hurt me. Because there were people at that table that had 14 big blinds or 13 big blinds who were like, cool, I don't mind if he tanks for 10 minutes because I'm laddering up, and that's awesome. Which is another reason why, to your point, this can't be in the players at the table's hands.
Right. I mean, in fairness, the bubble at the World Series of Poker main event is a hard problem to solve because it's such an enormous amount of money compared to any other bubble in poker. And on top of that, you've got so many people on that bubble who will not be used to getting that kind of score. It's just almost impossible to stop it being a really, really long process. Yeah,
I think, I mean, it's just one of those things where when you do hold back one chip and then stall, you're saying, well, it's fair. Absolutely. It's in the rules. You can do it. But just imagine the game if everybody did it.
I agree with that.
There's the other issue was stalling to get the pay jumps, not just the money bubble, not the original money bubble, but all the pay jumps. And somebody brought up a great idea. And I understand why we didn't do it in the past because things were done by like hand and paper. But I do wonder now, why aren't the pay jumps why don't we just do a pay jump every single player so that the pay jumps are so ridiculously small nobody cares about them?
So that would definitely speed up the play. It would take away a bit of skill edge because it does give the more skillful, aggressive players an advantage. So it depends because they can put pressure on if somebody's confronting a meaningful pay jump. So it depends whether you care about that or not. But like that, definitely like each player having an escalating cash out would definitely make it a faster experience, no doubt.
I mean, listen, at the final table, the pay jumps would still be enormous. You'd still have the original money bubble pay jump. So it goes from zero to 15,000, right? You still have the huge pay jumps near the final table. You still have a final table bubble where, chip leaders can exert a lot of pressure. I just mean why we have like, okay, if you finish 514th, you make $15,000, but if you finish 513th, you make $18,000. When we clearly have the technology to just make it incremental, like, okay, you're going to make $9 more than the player before you, and you're going to make $12 more, and you're going to make $13 more. And then it's just, okay. Just a thought.
Yeah. I think it's interesting.
I mean, it's all computerized now anyway, right?
It's those computers.
I mean, it feels like
doing it.
It just feels like, because right now I know, there was like a $15,000 pay jumps in the hundreds,
Right.
which is where a lot of players were stalling. Like if you got knocked out, and I don't know the exact number, but like if you got out and knocked out like 165th, you made like 45,000, but 164th was 60K, and it was a really big jump. But I thought, like, hey, if you make those increments a lot smaller, people aren't making the jump. I don't know. Three-handed here on our 8-8 poker mystery bounty main event. Very exciting stuff.
It's been an exciting final table. There's been a
Really
lot of
has
action and some coolers, but an awful lot of aggression as well.
Yeah, I mean, Angler Fishy's got to be just coming into this final table with what was like 4 big blinds, doubling up again, and now the chip leader. And again, they had a final table third place finish just a few days ago. Dario, by the way, came into this final table 6th in chips, Angry 3rd in chips. All these players looking for their biggest score of the year. They're all guaranteed $4,200 plus whatever the bounties they get. The $10,000.
No handshakes, no potential for a deal yet, which is, I don't know. Something to think about.
Deal Schmeal.
Deal Schmeal, says David Tuckman.
I will tell you one. There are a couple of people that really, really enjoyed the whole William Kassouf thing. And those are the 2 gentlemen who decided to just chop up heads up and had all the negative attention on them for a little while.
Absolutely.
They're like, oh, cool. They're not talking about us anymore.
They're enjoying their money, aren't they? I would have thought.
I'm sure they are.
It's definitely been a lively World Series. Obviously, it's like our industry's yearly trade show or get together. So you do quite often get stories out of it. But I think this year's been a particularly high hit rate of interesting talking points. Yeah,
and some really, as we pointed out, some really, really positive ones, and a few negative ones. It's always fun. By the way, Sean Deeb is the current player of the year, but if Mizrachi wins, and Sean Deeb will become the only second player to win the player of the year two times in his career. Dana Negreanu has been the other one who's done that. But if Mizrachi wins the main event, he will be the player of the year, which is pretty cool.
I mean, if you win the 50K Players Championship and the main event, and you didn't win the Player of the Year, the questions would have to be asked.
I put it out.
Yeah. In that case, haven't you?
I put it on Twitter. I said, if somebody wins the 50K Players Championship in the main event, I don't care what anybody else does. Just give them not only give them Player of the Year, but also put them in the Hall of Fame. And also, by the way, Hall of Fame, congratulations to Nick Schulman, the latest person to get into the Hall of Fame. A very tough class this year. Phil Galfond and Scott Seaver both just turned 40, but they only put in one person a year. So Phil Galfond did not get in.
Okay.
Because Nick Schulman got in.
Okay.
Kind of silly, I think.
I mean, you Americans love your halls of fame. It's not like us British people don't really understand it, but it's a big deal for you Americans, I think.
Well, I mean, I just feel like if we're going to celebrate somebody's career and put them in the Hall of Fame, like, let's figure out a way to do it and make it actually, I mean, a good representation of what it is.
Yeah, and I feel like 40s just feels like, I mean, you're going to be putting in people that are still playing in their, maybe not their exact primes, but still playing very, very good poker and haven't finished building their legacy. I don't know.
You could argue that somebody at poker at 40 is their prime from because they're still physically fit enough to stay focused and be focused for that long, and maybe they have the years of wisdom behind them. Who knows? Three-handed here. Dario or short stack, angry with 24 big blinds. Anglerfishy with the vast majority of the chips, 75 of the approximately 125 big blinds in there.
Yeah, they've been hitting a lot of hands, had aces a lot, hit a lot of nice hands, and they keep going here with trips.
Yeah, that certainly helps. We have 3 more giveaways for you, folks. Plus, we have 2 at the end of the show, so make sure you stick with us. Pair of 4s now for Angry. I mean, it is funny, though. Somebody was talking about William Kassouf, and they just said, Brent Hanks of Poker Go came out and said, hey, he goes, somebody can be an asshole and be good TV. These are not mutually exclusive. And I just tweeted, I just wrote back to him and I said, I just think he's an asshole. I genuinely just think he is. Did you see when he got knocked out?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. He took it well.
Like what I mean, come on. Like that's the part of it also. It's like, and then I've heard some people like comparing it to like Phil Hellmuth, and I'm going like this, and I'm like, that's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, it's different, isn't it? Phil Hellmuth was more about temper tantrums, whereas Will Kassouf's just about constant talking. So it's slightly different. Hi to Evercito, hi to Parabellum, hi to Pedro. Good to see you all. We're talking a bit of World Series of Poker, watching a final table here. You can still get in the free roll. Password is Jull888.
Listen, as much of a jackass as Phil Hellmuth can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
More often than not, he will own it afterwards and even apologize sometimes to the person he was a jackass to. Because he's aware of the fact that he's basically a 9-year-old who has temper tantrums in a 60-year-old body. He's at least aware of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I always hated it because he was the biggest name in poker. And I sort of always thought that made it much worse. But yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted about the whole thing, really, because I want characters in poker, but I don't want, constant obnoxious behavior.
I tend to agree. I mean, listen, I do not give Phil Hellmuth a pass. I mean, I think his behavior throughout his career has been inexcusable and bad. That said, here's the one thing that's interesting. If you ask the vast majority of poker players, amateur or pros, it's got an interesting spot here. Blind on blind.
Well, Anglerfishy had aces like 3 or 4 times.
Also at a spot like this, I mean, blind on blind where your opponent only has 11 big blinds, the chip's going to go in. Yep, there's the all-in. There's the call. And nothing there for Dario at all. Drawing dead as we head to the river. They'll be gone in 3rd place. Dario Toma, great run. Came to this final table 6th in chips. They exit in 3rd. When it's all said and done, they're going to pick up over $5,500. And we are heads up as just a couple of minutes before we head to a break. Heads up here, Anglerfishy with a huge chip lead, over 5-1 chip advantage.
Those of you that are fans of charting the likely course of the show by how many tickets have been given away at a certain point will have worked out that if you like Heads Up Poker, we've got some for you.
There we go. I love Heads Up Poker. Let's do it. Nothing going on here. Anyway, my last little thought about Phil Hellmuth before I go. The one thing about Phil Hellmuth I will say, and again, I don't excuse his behavior, is the vast majority of amateurs out there, recreational players and pros, they kind of almost like a badge of honor if they've been on the receiving end of a Hellmuth rant.
It definitely got to that point. I think it depends which point of poker development you're at. When there was a time when I had a problem with it years ago when it wasn't that point. Now he'd become a laughing stock and people would just find it funny if he did it to them. So yeah, and it didn't help him, did it?
No, not at all. At least he said, at least in his defense, that he's at least self-aware of the fact that he's a babbling, you know, immature 8-year-old. He does understand that at least, but
yeah, and Will Kassouf doesn't.
No. If I never saw Will Kassouf at another tournament ever again, I'd be totally fine with it.
Yeah, I agree. Crown Pilgrim, we don't know the reasons for his behavior, but I mean, you know, there's definitely something going on there. I don't think the way he behaves is particularly normal. I mean, it's just so relentless that there's obviously something going on. Tell you what's going on right now, David Tuchman.
It's break time. Yep, that's right. It's break time. We'll be back. Heads up action here. More giveaways. And of course, we'll talk about free roll as well. Back in 6 minutes, everybody.
So today I leave for Barcelona. I get in late tomorrow night. They only fly me out to these things once in a while. Need to make the best of it. And personally and professionally, hope I do.
When I was told I was coming to Barcelona, I was pretty excited because I was here last year. It was actually the last time I was with the whole team. It's always a packed schedule when you're here, in addition to trying to eat at all the restaurants you want to go to and actually see the beach and enjoy the weather and such. The first event I played when I got here was the high roller. It was actually on the day I arrived. Poker-wise, it went pretty poorly. I don't think I won a pot for the first 2 hours, but it got much better from there. Went to a much more fun table with other 8-8 poker ambassadors. Unfortunately, I did bubble. I got in pocket jacks and pocket eights pretty much on the last hand of the day. Third 8 in the window, but it's an 8-8 poker tournament. What more can I expect?
On my way to Casino Barcelona, day 2 of the 8-8 Poker Live trip.
A lot of players have a pregame ritual at home when they play or live. For me, it's mostly drink coffee, make sure I'm awake, and just get into it. My day 1 was actually very busy because before the event, I got to film 4 separate made-to-learn episodes for 8-8 Poker. Many players choose instead to simplify their strategy, having 1 or 2 bet sizes, picking that based on the board texture, the stack size, etc. And because I don't come out here very often, my schedule's packed. So it's content, play, content. And I do think, though, filming all that content prepared me a bit for the game. I ended day 1 with one of the biggest stacks, but for almost the entirety of the day, I actually had a pretty short stack. I feel like I lost every pot, and almost every other pot was to Vivi, who was on my right. So that wasn't very fun, because when you lose a pot to Vivi, you lose the actual chips, and then she makes a little comment each time. You know, just joking, as she rakes in the chips. But we got to play in the feature table too, and ended up chipping up to about, I don't know, 180K.
170K at the last break of the night. Really tough table, but really fun table so far. And 2 levels left to make day 2. So good luck us, and hopefully I'll find the right place to look in the camera.
We moved to another table, and it just like skyrocketed from there. I went from 50 to 80 to 180 to 350 pretty quickly, and ended the day with about 350,000 chips, one of the top 10 or so stacks. My day off from the main was still pretty busy. We had the Ambassador Sit and Go, which I was really excited about. Played it now 3 times, I believe. I did have a really fun time hanging out with the other influencers, talking trash with Leo at the table, because he and I don't really talk much online at the table, we just battle. But to do it in person was a lot more fun, especially because normally online, Leo gets the best of me, and this time I got him in pretty much every single hand.
How do you think I played?
I think you played good. You get lucky against me.
Okay.
Like always, but
like always,
you
yeah.
play very solid.
That might be one of the highlights of this trip for me.
Gonna find a coffee, get myself prepped for the MVP free roll, and then ready for day 2 of the Barcelona main event.
At 350K, it looks like a decent table of people who have around 350 or less, and hope to push them around, even hope more that they fold, and we make it in money.
So when I returned for day 2, I took a look at my table, and my thought was that I might be a chip leader. I can sort of put pressure on them because nobody wants to go home empty-handed. After the table breaks, I had around 600K. My next table was tough. Ian Simpson was there. A couple other really good players were there as well. I lost a small pot, another small pot, a medium pot, and then just a massive pot, and I was down to pretty much what I started the day with. After losing all those pots, we got moved to the feature table.
It's a nice little pot for Aaron. He needed this one. He's up to over 300,000.
We were also close to the bubble, so I knew it was time to tighten up a little bit given my stack size and their aggression levels. And I also knew I had a made to learn that I had made earlier in the week about how to play the bubble. And so I knew that I can't screw this up.
So we're in the money.
We're in the money. Well done, players. Congratulations to our money bubbleists.
Bubble just burst. We are in the money of the Barcelona main event. Time to update that Hendon mob. Let's go.
Once we made the money, I didn't last that long. I opened ace-4 suited in the cutoff, button calls, who's a loose-ish player on the same sack size. End up seeing a flop that's very good for me, 7-5-3 with 2 hearts. I've got the flush draw, the overcard, the straight draw, the other straight draw. Pretty much have the world.
Oh my God, what a terrible run out for Aaron. That's just awful.
That's really bad.
He had everything.
I end up playing it a little bit differently on later streets than other people would, but I firmly believed at that time that that would give me the most equity.
There just aren't a lot of value shots.
He's making the call.
He calls. Aaron's going to be out.
Yep. But I'm assuming the sizing of the bet on the river made him think that this was a bluff. What's happening? I'm reliving my death. Oh my God, what a terrible run out for Aaron.
Interestingly enough, we have Aaron Burney in the booth. Hi. Boxboxer was like, give Aaron a second to break. We're on a delay. He's had like 20 minutes. Yeah. So talk us through that hand. I mean, you flopped the whorls.
I did.
In poker, you just want to make the best play possible and block out everything else.
In fairness, he always had the best hands.
That is true, but I didn't think so.
Right, okay.
When it works, you're a genius. When it doesn't, you're a moron. And you have to be okay with, at times, even during the same hand, the same session, being both of those things.
Well, thank you for having me.
My pleasure, buddy. Be well.
You too.
It's not every day that we get the insight from one of our pros minutes after they get knocked out. That's pretty cool today.
And they see me get a hero call, the river one spot with ace high, and then barrel off 6 high another spot. Here's our team pro.
Welcome back. Heads up action here on Magic Monday. Angry Ogre against Angler Fishy. Heads up for the title. Angler Fishy, a significant chip lead. But as we certainly have seen before, and we know it's possible, these things can change so quickly. But as we can see right now, about a 6-1 chip lead for Angler Fishy. This could be over any minute, or it could last for a long time. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, Ace King, when the chip lead has a king, might be a good start for Angry Ogre.
Certainly possible. Nick Wealthall, David Tuckman here. A lot of giveaways for you. There's the all-in. There's a call, and you called it.
Straight.
Oh, 9 or 4 ended. I'm shocked. I thought it was over.
It nearly was. But it isn't.
It nearly was. We have a lot more giveaways. By the way, 3 $109 tickets to give away, plus 2 more at the end of our show. So we'll do it in the normal way. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. On a Monday.
Looks like Q-Vice 4th in the free roll.
Go get it. Go get it. Registration is still open, by the way. You can get in there. If you're not in there now, do it. Password is July 888 without the Y. So JUL 888. No spaces. Sorry. That'll get you in. $500 in cash prizes being given away. Kings versus Queen 5. That 6-1 chip lead vanished.
Yeah, now Angler Fishy has basically hit a lot of hands at this final table. And so we really don't know how they play. Angry Ogre's been a little bit more aggressive, seen them play a little bit without the cards. We haven't seen Angler Fishy without the cards because they don't need to, because they just get premiums all the time. Look, what a life.
Angry Ogre, by the way, actually won a tournament yesterday. They won in a tournament yesterday for $1,400. Yeah, can they go back to back? I mean, that would be pretty impressive. Uh-oh, this could be trouble for Anger. Angry Ogre hits top pair, heads up. That is a very, very strong hand.
Yeah, I mean, Angler's got to figure out how to get all the chips in. I think actually needs to bet a little bit bigger than that.
They go.
To try
They go
and
a
get
little
them
bit.
all.
Yeah, they go 6.8, which is basically a pot size bet on the turn here. And wow, what a fold from Angry Ogre.
What, wait, that makes no sense whatsoever.
I guess they assumed, and I mean, I guess they assumed that the large sizing from Angler Fishy was very polarizing, meaning they had a very strong hand or a very weak hand, and just didn't think they had that many bluffs in their range. One of the things you pointed out, we don't know that much about Angler Fishy, and maybe Angry Ogre does.
Yeah, maybe they do. That's definitely the first question: is do they know that when this player bets big, they just have it? Because that's a ludicrously tight fold. Heads up.
Yeah, Gregoria says, "Is that a good fold?" In a vacuum,
It's
no.
hard for it to be.
Right.
The point.
In a vacuum, if you're folding a pair of aces heads up, just on an ace, king, queen board with a couple of hearts out there, no, it's not a good fold. But, again, if you have information about your opponent, maybe it can be, depending on the sizing. Astrash says fear to straight. I mean, think about it. It's not just a straight. You're talking about, sets, straights, two pair combinations. And it might have been a thought from Angry Ogre just thinking, well, if I call this and I'm faced a pot size bet on the river, do I have it? Again, it's just one of those situations where oftentimes we watch this play out and we assume something.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has to have a read to do that. I don't think, you can't just fold. It's not a 3-bet pot or anything. It's just a single raise pot and, a bet on the turn when you've got top pair. He has to think that this player, when they bet big, always has it. We'll see if that's true or not as we get to watch this heads up. But
yeah, they haven't had to bluff because they've hit so many hands.
Yeah, it's true. Like Rory says, Phil Helmer's reading ability better even than that. If you can imagine.
It is always funny though, because you watch players, and during the World Series, I'm in this great situation where I get to watch all these players and with their hole cards, and you saw some just crazy good folds. Like, wait a second, how is he make? But then, because I'm watching a player for 4 hours, I'll then see them make another crazy fold later on that wasn't correct, and I'm just going, no.
Oh, they're just overly tight.
They're just right. They're just really, really playing it careful.
Yeah.
So
it's called too tight, David.
Or too tight, yes.
Too tight. Yeah, we say this a lot when we're talking poker, but it's so true that it's so hard to generalize from action that you see in a specific hand. It's just really hard because, maybe they're a phenomenal player. It's like that bell curve meme, isn't it? With the same conclusion at both sides.
Right.
They can be a genius or they can be an idiot and they can make the same decision. And it's very hard to know. I mean, in poker terms, obviously, not as a person. It's very hard to know.
Yeah, there's a very fine line between looking like an absolute genius and looking like a dolt.
Yep.
And especially in poker. I always bring up the story, and I know I probably mentioned it to you before, when many, many years ago I was covering cash games here in Los Angeles, and I was commentating on them. And there's one particular player who was just like making the craziest calls and was always right. And they were up tons of money over months and months. And they were just making these great calls. And then we just realized that, no, they're just a calling station. And nobody made the adjustment to stop bluffing them. And eventually players start making hands against them. And then they lost all the money they made. And then plus a lot more than that. I think sample sizes are often very small and often too small to make huge judgments. We can see there here, Angry Ogre has done quite a nice job of kind of clawing their way back into this, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, let's say they've played with Angler Fishy before the final table for a while, and let's say they think Angler Fishy doesn't bluff very much, and when they make big pot size bets, they always have it. So this is interesting because this is an over bet This is actually a raise where Anglerfishy does not really have it. They have a hand. So it is very possible that Angry Ogre is going to play too tight against Anglerfishy on the grounds that most of the time when they make a big bet, they have a big hand. And this is the other thing that I know you'll have seen a lot, David, both as a player and a commentator, is people put too much emphasis on their reads. So they think somebody has a tendency, and then they just go too binary with it. They go like, "This guy's never bluffing," or something like that.
Well, it's the classic. It's the classic thing you always say. If you show one player a bluff one time,
they think you're a bluffer.
8 years later, you're still, oh, that's the bluffer guy.
That's the bluffer, tricky bastard. I remember.
He always bluffs, that son of a bitch.
Exactly.
No, and also, I think we also put too much weight. Now, listen, these players not only might have played this particular tournament together, they could have played many times. I mean, Angry Ogre could have notes on Anglerfishy and know how they play. But here's the thing also. How somebody plays 8-handed, 6-handed, 7-handed is not necessarily how somebody plays heads up.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I really think you should reset a lot of your reads when you get shorthanded with somebody and just give yourself a chance to figure out, if you can, if you're deep enough, how they actually play. I really think that's a good point you made.
Top pair here versus a gut shot with the flush draw. Free roll registration is closed, but we'll do we'll have a free roll call for you in a couple of minutes. Let us know how you guys are doing. QI, who was just a free roll wizard, last we heard was 4th out of 1,200. That's pretty good. Remember that the gut shot I mentioned? Well, Anglerfishy just nailed it. And it's now bet 9 big blinds into 13.4. Let's see if Angry Ogre folds here. Another biggish bet. And look at that. Folds top pair.
I mean, if you can win a heads-up match folding top pair, then, I mean, they're absolutely on the money. They're right. But, I mean, it's I don't know. You're putting a lot of emphasis in that read.
I mean, listen, if you're Anglerfishy and you're watching this and you're seeing, wow, they keep folding when I bet big and I always have it. I always fall back to what you say. Well, if somebody folds, and it's a really great lesson that Nick has mentioned a million times, if somebody folds in a situation where you have it, you've got to think to yourself, well, okay, what about this made them fold? And can I now start finding some bluffs here too?
Yeah, a really great way to start opening up your game. Just think about, and also to get you to think about, how do they view my range in different spots? Really useful lesson, I think, that one. So should we give away another ticket, David? Do you fancy doing that?
Yeah, I've got a question for you, unless you want to do a keyword.
Well, we have to do a keyword.
Okay.
In the traditional grammar of the show. I know your question is amazing, but I think
it's like burning a hole in my pocket.
Making you wait for it is even more,
Yeah, no,
suspense building.
And listen, I think people will stick around for the question.
I think they will.
Yeah.
Because it's that good. It's one of your best, I hear.
Yeah.
We're going to do a keyword. If you're watching on YouTube, you have to be on Twitch. So jump over to enter this. It's a software-driven competition. All you do is type in the keyword once revealed, and then you're entered, and you could win. It's very easy to enter, but that doesn't mean it's a small prize. It's a $109 ticket for Play on 888. It could be used to enter this competition next week, this tournament next week, which is a huge tournament, as we see a bit of aggression from Anglerfishy with the pocket pair. Are we ready for the keyword? Hayden, are we ready?
I'm ready.
David's ready. Towers is ready. 888 Poker TV's ready. The keyword, in honor of his deep run and his ambassadorialness, flying the flag in Las Vegas and finishing ahead of Nick Eastwood so that we don't have to hear about that too much. The keyword is Barone, as in Aaron. Barone. Barone.
I was obviously rooting for both players, but I was really, Aaron and I got to kind of talk while we were there, and I was really, really pulling for him. I had told him, actually, I said, if you're still in, when it's then down to like 20, I am coming to Vegas and I'm cheering you on. Okay, I will be on your rail. I mean, I only live. It's a 45-minute flight for me, so it's really, really easy. And I said, if you're still in when we're down to 3 tables, I am there. Get your Baronis in the chat. We're gonna give away one $109 ticket. This is not a satellite to win a $109 ticket, folks. This is actually a $109 ticket. Coincidentally, it's huge. Coincidentally, you can play in this tournament with that $109 ticket. Players win tons of money. In fact, Simple Fun finished 44th place and walked away with over $10,000. Over $10,000. Whoever wins this tournament is going to walk away with over $8,000. These are the possibilities. This is what could theoretically happen with the $109 ticket you might just win. So get your Baronis in there.
Really good. It's been done more than once. More than once.
By the way, for those of you, as you put your Baronis in there, I do want to ask you, we put out a litany, a ton of 8-8 rides during the World Series of Poker. We timed them with the main event. For those of you who got to see a few of them, let me know what you thought or what you think. Matt Berkey, Joe Cata, Joe McKeon.
This is a very strong baseball cap on backwards subgroup.
Yes, actually, yeah. Joe Cata, Matt Berkey, and myself. All the it's the bros, the hat on backward bros.
That's it.
Berkey actually had a tag hanging from his hat, but I thought that was like style for him, so I didn't mention it to him.
Oh, like it's a new cap tag.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But I thought he knew. I just figured he knew. That was just like what he was going for.
Andy Rednick and Final Table enjoyed the new rides.
Awesome. I'm glad, Andy.
Type Barone in the Twitch chat. Doesn't work if you're on YouTube, so jump over to Twitch, 888 Poker TV on Twitch. And it's the easiest $109 ticket you'll ever win. All you do is type in Barone and you're in. Somebody's going to get lucky.
Parabellum says, I like how you wear it backwards, then you use your hand to block the sun.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Sometimes I put it on backwards, not because I like the feel of it, but also it does block the sun from hitting my back of my neck. Sometimes. There's a reason for it.
Sure.
Sometimes I wear it forwards. I do both.
Trying to hang on to the dying embers of your youth is the reason. We all know that.
But the embers have long since died out.
888 Ride is great. Would love to see Gentili. You've had Gentili, haven't you?
We had Gentili on, but many, many years ago. I think, you know what? I think C422, I think it's time that we got Gentili back in the car.
Sounds good.
Ooh, 2 pair. This is an interesting little flop. Got Ace-4 figures to be the best hand here a ton of the time. It's not here, though.
Very fortuitous for Angry. See what I did there?
Nice.
Yeah, wordplay always brings things to a frenzy.
Yeah, the guy's fortuitous. Yeah. I got it.
The English language is my tools. Yeah.
I thought it was very good.
Thanks. See if they can extract any money with this very unlikely winning hand.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's see if they size. They got 1 bet in there. I think there's no reason not to keep betting. And they're going to go more than pot. And Anglerfishy lets it go. So both players are kind of viewing hey, when that player bets more than the pot or the pot, I fold. I'm really curious to see if these players will do it with a draw. Anyway, cut it, though. Look at the chip counts now. We are basically even.
Yeah, quite the comeback from Angry. And they've managed to come back by kind of chipping up, haven't they? They haven't really put themselves at risk too much.
We had one double up. We had the Ace-King versus King-5.
First hand, yeah, or whatever it was, second hand or something.
And then the rest of it, it's been just hard work. See if Angry wants to go for a little bit of value. They are. Anglerfishy, not going to give it to him. And we've got a heads-up match for you. Kings again. Anglerfishy has just picked up some big hands. Last call. Get your bronies in chat, everybody. $109 ticket going to one lucky player.
They've been an absolute card rack. This final table has been amazing. I think that's like their 7th or 8th premium, this final table.
By the way, did you see, I want to say with like 15 left or whatever it was, 16 left, aces versus kings?
No, I didn't actually.
It's
in the
just
main,
so,
obviously.
It's like you've made like day 8.
It's disgusting. I mean, that is
come
disgusting.
on. Like, that's just like really? You're going to do me in this way?
David, we're rolling the contest. We've got a winner. That person is
me.
Wayne.
That's not me.
You. No, it's in no way, shape, or form is it you, I'm afraid.
Ugh.
I know.
Well,
life is harsh. Wayne Union, you have won a $109 ticket. Congrats.
Well done, Wayne Union. Congrats. You, my friend, have a $109 ticket. If you didn't win, don't cry, don't fret. We have 2 more to give away during the show, 2 more to give away at the end of our show. If you're wondering how to get involved in the end of the show one, well, that's the wheel of the justice spin. Well, justice spin. We spin the wheel, and if we land on your name and you are in chat, you must be in the chat, you get a $109 ticket. How do you get your name on the wheel? Very simple. You accumulate 4,000 Twitch points and you turn them in. You get Twitch points by watching our shows. Not only our show, but you can watch the home game. You can be a part of that. Josh Manley is hosting this week. That's tomorrow. You can blast off on Wednesday. We've got a Canadian versus Romanian showdown. Komodo Dragon Jesus versus Andre Cause. Mateus taking over the stream on Thursday. And you earn Twitch points each and every day that you watch our shows.
While you were doing that read, Angry Ogre 1-1 with a baby flush and takes the chip lead, David Tuckman, for the first time in this heads-up match.
So Angler Fishy now, a deficit. They had a 6-1 chip lead. Probably thought it was in the bag.
It was not. It's out of the bag.
Yeah, well, they didn't realize that their bag had a hole in it.
Yeah. Really did.
The Battle of the King Fours. Both players with a straight draw.
He who bets last or something.
Yeah, I mean, both players, the king high, are kind of incentivized to just, I guess, get the showdown. You got to think, okay, what am I trying to get to fold here? Am I getting an ace high to fold? And look at this. Anglerfishy is going to try to get a pair to fold. Maybe a pair of 6s, a pair of 3s, something like that. They're going to target that. And we've seen Anglerfishy be aggressive with their draws. We saw it with 5-4 earlier on, here with king 4. And it does work. So nice play from Anglerfishy. And each time they've been aggressive with the draw, it's worked.
Yeah, both players playing pretty well at the moment. Good battle.
I would argue that if anything, both players probably overfolding a little bit much.
Yeah, that is true, given its heads up. Wayne Union, that just won the ticket, David Topman, is in New Zealand. Can you believe that? Our global reach, the global reach of Magic Monday is staggering.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially like New Zealand's basically another planet, right?
Basically.
That's amazing. We are reaching the
Wayne Union in New Zealand, you in LA and me in London. That's basically the globe, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like at some point I'm waiting for somebody to just be like, oh, I want a ticket. Where are you watching from? I'm on Jupiter.
Yeah.
Well done, you.
Well, that would be impressive. Obviously, 888 don't have a license here, but never mind.
That's the only reason we haven't awarded tickets to people on Jupiter.
That's correct. The only reason.
A pair of kings for Angler. Not much going on here for Angry, but this one, there's a bluff that will not work. And look at this. Anglerfishy now in the chip lead, although it is extremely fluid. Basically, they are even. Hello, everybody. By the way, we are back at it next Monday, another Magic Monday show.
Pedro and Kufi making the same observation that for Wayne Noonian, it's Magic Tuesday morning. Don't tell us what happens, Wayne Noonian. I like to be surprised. Do you get it? Because you're in Tuesday and yeah.
You're in the future?
Paul's has just let us know that Ian, our other 8 of 8 ambassador in Vegas with Vivi and Lucia, as well as the 2 that had the deep run, is 10th out of 59 remaining in the $800 WSOP. So
is it
run there?
Wow. Ian Simpson, by the way, is a master. He's had a great 2025, but he's also kind of a master of like doing great in the side events. When the main event doesn't work out for him, he's like, yeah, I'll just spink this other one.
Yeah. He just plays well every time. That's his secret. Don't tell him I said that. Full house for Angler Fishy, but potentially a little bit of trouble card for Angry.
No, this should be trouble. I mean, you can't fold an ace here. You just can't.
We've already seen it done, though, in this heads-up match.
What's your sizing? I mean, the straight got there. The flush got there. You're trying to get called. I mean, you have an ace. It's like, what are you trying to get called by here? What's your sizing? Do you go large and hope your opponent actually has it?
Yeah.
Do you want to go small and figure they're going to raise anyway?
Yeah, I think you want to. I think you try and get paid, don't you?
I like the big size here. I mean, there are a lot of hands your opponent can pay you off with, and if your opponent was getting sticky with a 3, they're not going to pay you off anyway. I mean, I think you want your opponent to have a 4, a flush, a 5, or get sticky with an ace. I like the sizing. Unfortunately, for Angler Fishy, does not get paid, but they are back in the chip lead, and it's quite significant again, nearly 2-1.
Smokey, who's new to the show, this is for the global reach part of our show, David, is in the Seychelles, which is the Indian Ocean.
I will tell you,
not. Where is Magic Monday not? Welcome, Smokey.
Yeah, it's a good question. Seychelles, by the way, is one of the few places, I want to say one of the many places I've never been that I really want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it's beautiful.
Well, we went to Mauritius in March, which is in the same part of the world as Seychelles, and it is very beautiful.
Yeah, I am jealous.
Straight for the angler.
Player Quilla says Ian Simpson was born with a horse up his ass.
A horse?
Yeah, I feel like we're missing something.
That is not biologically possible.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, I know. Listen, I've been in the actually delivery room twice.
Yeah,
and I'm quite certain that that is not possible. I feel like we're missing a word, Player Quiller. Oh, we meant a horseshoe.
It'd be a very tiny horse. I don't know how small they make them now with technology and everything.
Yes, a small little horse.
Yeah. maybe it's just an interesting fact about Ian. He was the first human to be born with a very tiny horse in his arse. Doesn't help him in his poker. It's just a fascinating fact about Ian Simpson.
If somebody wants to go to Wikipedia and either edit Ian Simpson's page or start an Ian Simpson page with that little factoid, we'd be really appreciative.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
All sorts of things we learn here on Magic Monday or Tuesday if you're in New Zealand.
Don't tell us what happens. I just love having viewers all around the world. It's super cool. Straight draw for Angler Fishy.
Yeah, we've seen him play it pretty aggressively when they have a straight draw. So we'll see what he does here. I actually kind of like playing aggressive here because you can also rep. You have a 5 of clubs in your hand, so if a club comes off, you can rep that. You have an overcard if your opponent does have a 4 or a deuce. Angry does not let that one go, and bink. Angler Fisher just gets there. It's really fun when you just get there.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but I've seen it done. It does look really fun.
Yeah, like raising on the. What are you doing? Bet.
Yeah, where's the bet?
You got there.
You got there, and it looks a bit bluffy, and like there's lots of combos they can call you with. And
how can you build a pot if you just don't bet?
Good question, David Tutman. These people don't care about you and your finishing time.
Well, I'm not in a rush. I don't care about that. I just think if like you got there. That's the hard part. I mean, by the way, you raised on a straight draw and you hit your straight. Like that's the equivalent of basically getting somewhere to Jupiter or Ian Simpson having a horse in his ass. I mean, it's so hard to hit straights. Look at that, though. Angry Ogre does eventually pay off. And this is Angry Ogre sitting there going, you know what, Tuck, Wealthall, that's why I fold. He always has it.
Yeah, he has a point if that's what he's shouting, and I wouldn't blame him. Wow, so suddenly we're back to where we started out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is more than a 5-1 chip advantage. Angry Ogre got rid of this, took the lead very briefly, but Anglerfishy has come back strong. Made some hands, got paid. Not going to get paid here. I have a question for you, Nick. Should I ask it? Or do we wait on this one?
I don't know exactly when this finishes, David Tupman, but it must finish at some point.
I would imagine so.
It's been quite a long heads-up battle, but it must end.
Listen, if you throw something in the air, it does come down, unless it's in space, and then it doesn't have to come down. So you never know. But I do believe this will end at some point. Paul's is giving us the updates. Now only 55 left. Paul says that Ian's got $5,000 locked up. There you go. I don't know how much Ian has spent this summer. He might have to win to break even, though. I have no idea.
I think Paul said that there's $250,000 up top, so hopefully Ian would still be in profit for the summer with a quarter.
That'd be awesome. Well, go Ian Simpson. I'd love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Absolutely. We can do a contest for 2 more tickets if you like, David.
I would.
You'd like to give away some big boy tickets? That would give you pleasure.
It would give me. Listen. I like to make our audience happy.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to like me.
Mm-hmm. I want them to like me.
Yeah, I mean,
giving them stuff is your main weapon to play there, isn't it?
Absolutely. Listen, I am not above bribery, and I want friends. So here we go. Let's do it.
Angry all in, no cool. They're going to do that a few more times, I think, as in shove. Just 11 moves. Do they shove Queen 10 on the button? They do.
Do we get the call? We do. This could be it. A 3. Oh, a 3 still ends it, though. No, running 2 pair and Angry Ogre doubling up. And back to about a 2-1 chip advantage. This is amazing, by the way. I love how the world maps are so incredibly inaccurate, right? I mean, children must look at this, and even adults look at this and go, what is this? Did you realize? I mean, you mentioned that Mauritius and the Seychelles was, in the same area.
Well, they're both in the Indian Ocean.
Right, but do you know it's a 4-hour flight
from
Mauritius? Yes, 4-hour flight.
Wow.
That's enormous.
Wow. That is. There's a big ocean.
Right, but if you looked at a map, you'd probably think they were like, oh, they're not that far away. It's so silly.
So in between Mauritius and Dubai, cool.
Crown Pilgrim, thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate that. Really sweet of you to say. Okay, I have a question for you. The contest is very simple. I'm going to ask Nick a question, everybody. You have to climb inside Nick's brain and guess what he thinks. Google will not help you. It will not. Okay? You have to try to figure out what Nick thinks. That's the important thing. Okay? Got it, guys? You can only answer once. We're giving away 2 $109 tickets. Time does matter because if you guess the same answer as somebody else, whoever says it first is going to win. And that's the only time, by the way, you can guess more than once. If somebody else is taking your answer, you can guess a second time. Got it? Okay. Nick, are you ready?
Anglerfishy doesn't bluff this river, which means that I am ready, David Tupman. Question me up.
I will. Well, very exciting, positive news about the World Series Poker main event is that we do have our first woman in the modern era to make the final table. Only the second time a woman has made the final table. Okay?
Which is amazing, but true.
It really is amazing. We've had some close calls. Mm-hmm. Okay? This year, how many women cashed in the World Series Poker main event? Yep.
I thought you were going to say entered.
Well, I could have asked you that, but instead, I'm going to ask you, how many women cashed in the World Series of Poker main event this year? Get your answers in. Nick is tabulating. He's now going, he's like, well, I know she cashed, and I know she cashed. Yep, that one did too.
I'm trying to remember what percentage of the field cashed, and I can't, which is really bad. I should know that.
How many people cashed? How many women cashed? That's the question I'm asking. Very exciting news that we do have a woman at the final table. How many women cashed at the World Series of Poker main event this year? What's the answer according to Nick Wealthall?
Yeah, definitely a speed matters round of this.
Yes. Dire Restraint says the entire World Series. No, I said the main event. Main event. There's 100 bracelet events this summer. I did not ask him how many women cashed total. That would be ridiculous. It
doesn't mean you wouldn't ask it, but that would be ridiculous.
I might have asked it if Lime was here.
Poor Lime.
And I might even ask that next week when Lime's back.
I do think it's like the World Series of Poker main event, because it happens every year, we're used to it, but it is absolutely mental that 10,000 people enter one poker tournament and that a tournament staff has to deal with the logistics of that. And obviously they're very practiced at it, but it's still not an easy thing to do, is it?
It's insane. Which is, by the way, if I were Jack Effel, and Jack Effel does an amazing job, but if I were Jack Effel, I would have no problem being like, you make my life and my staff's life exponentially more difficult. I don't need your business.
That's exactly what you saw, wasn't it? That was exactly his vibe.
Like listen, that's the other part. I do want to mention here, as you think about this, Will Kassouf was an absolute ass to a good friend of mine named Bob Smith. Bob Smith is one of the floor men. You guys might have watched him. I have a very lovely nickname for him, Chop Chop. Another story for another time. But I love Bob Smith. He's such a class guy. If you're a jerk to him, you're just a jerk. Okay? He's just a good person, right? Anyway.
And you took that personally.
To me, I'm just it's the end of the summer. Like I said, if I was Jack Effel, I'm just going, listen, I don't need your business. It's like owning a restaurant. You know, if I own a restaurant and you're a jerk to my bartenders and my wait staff, I don't care how much money you spend. Just no. Go eat somewhere else. I don't need you here. You're an asshole. Go away.
Oh. Sorry.
Anyway.
Do my best.
I just like
my most polite version.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just don't need your business. Bye-bye. It's a privilege. Don't like it? Too bad.
Get your answers in. The question is, how many women players, how many lady players cashed the World Series of Poker main event this go around? You're trying to guess what I think the answer is.
Yeah. How many women cashed the main event? I believe Nick's answer is in, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, we have even stacks in this heads-up match, so I mean, obviously we could get a cooler, but this has been back and forth.
Yeah, they battled. Listen, I give Angry Ogre a lot of credit. There have been a couple of times where they certainly could have been like, okay, I'm just going to stick it in and see what happens. They have battled. They have made some really big folds. I think card distribution has certainly favored angler fishing, but I give Angry Ogre a lot of credit for kind of being in here.
Agreed.
And are they considering a bluff here? No, they do let it go. Still anybody's tournament, though. No doubt about it. Yeah, about 10,000 entries total. Do you know how many women entered?
Oh, well, if we close the contest, because I probably shouldn't say how many women I think entered, because that'll...
Good point. Good point.
Guesses.
Last call for your guesses. Contest is closed. Okay, there you go.
There you go. I've no idea, but I think it's around 4 or 5%. That's what I base my answer on.
So that'd be okay. So there you go. You can start thinking about it. So about 400 to 500 women have entered.
That's what I think. I think the main event. I have looked this number up in the past, not this year though.
Yeah, I asked the question, by the way, fully knowing that we might get some repeat answers, but I also figured that some people would be so far off not knowing that it would be okay.
It's always okay, David. It can be a speed round.
Yeah, I don't mind those at all.
Do you know the real world answer?
I do not.
Before I give out the right answer, okay.
I do not. I do not know the real world answer off the top of my head.
Well, one of them might win it. I won't be watching all of it because it'll go on till breakfast time in the UK, won't it? But I will be rooting very strongly for Leo Margetts. Would be wonderful for poker. And as you pointed out, she's not only a legit player, a very good poker player. She's a previous bracelet winner. She's also a great person, and would be a great ambassador if she was. If she was the one, David. If she was the one to be the first one to bring it home.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, I do believe that this final table has a lot of people to root for, but you know, I like the grinder. I think his story is fascinating. I love the way he plays the game. I think that he would also kind of, you know, just be a lot of fun. I would not mind a Mizrachi, Leo Margetts final heads-up match for the bracelet, for it all.
Sure, but Leo wins, yeah, because we're trying to get more money into poker.
Sounds good.
This is the best way I found to do it at short notice.
Bottom two pair versus just bottom pair.
Another nice hand for the angler.
Yeah, they just continues. Did he not bet? Nobody bets here. Why is anybody betting?
Yeah, they've got a little bit tight recently. And now the pot size bet.
Boxwaxer says the Chat GPT thinks roughly 55 to 60. What does Chat GPT know?
Nothing, David. Don't you give up to don't give in to our machine overlords just yet.
And by the way, I mean, it's kind of, if it's AI, why is it estimating?
Why is it estimating?
No, I mean, it's like, you know, what temperature is it outside? Somewhere between 78 and 85 degrees. No, I'm not asking you to tell me what it's likely to be.
David Tuchman battles AI.
Boxwaxer says it's not official yet. What do you mean it's not official yet? Yes, it is.
It is.
Nobody else is going to cash. The people who have cashed have cashed. You can't take it away. We're not going to have more caches.
Seriously, you should be nice to ChatGPT. And if you ever use ChatGPT or another AI, you should always say please and thank you, because one day they will become self-aware and take over. That's a given. And if you've been nice to them, you'll get a good job in the New Republic. If you've been nasty to them, you'll just be in a factory making food for the machines.
I'll be dead. I will be dead. I will be sent to like the colony where I just die. My wife will often, she yells at me because I'm rude to our Alexa.
Right.
Because Alexa, she just doesn't listen. She doesn't cooperate with me. She doesn't answer me. And my wife was like, "Will you be nice to her?" So actually, Alexa in our house, if I need something from Alexa, I have to ask my kids to ask Alexa because she won't answer me.
This is very metaphorical for your problem with women for some kids.
Maybe true. It's certainly possible.
We're in the money in the free roll. Ring the bell. Pedro, are you in the money? And who else in our chat has made the money in the free roll? Don't lie. Don't be that guy. But if you're in, very well done. You've made David Tuchman make a noise. Con Martino, well done. Kivas in 20th. Brilliant.
We're in the money. Congratulations. Pauls mentions that this is officially Ian's fifth cash, and he has already locked up about 30,000 US. Don't know what his buy-ins are. So my guess is he's actually probably doing pretty well, because I don't think Ian enters a lot of the really, really big buy-ins outside of the 10K main event.
Right. 5 cashes is obviously really good. Congrats to Fox Force, Quantum Criminal.
Yeah, I think he's had a really good, now that I'm thinking about it,
Oh,
Ian-
Speed Eddie's in 10th. Awesome.
Ian didn't come out until pretty late. Also,
Yeah, you're right. Actually, Leo says that he is profitable according to his social media. For me,
Yeah.
he's made the money in the free roll. Nice. Sorry, go on.
I think he's actually having a great. Now that I think about it, because I know he doesn't come out that long because of family. So the fact that he has 5 caches locked up a lot of money already. Well done,
Hey.
Ian. Well, the year of Ian Simpson,
The year of Ian
2025.
Simpson. It is the year of Ian Simpson. He's already won one of our UK tour events and an 88 Live main event in Madrid. So he's really been on fire this year.
I kind of wonder if the Chinese New Year will adjust things. Like, you could be the year of you were born in the year of the snake or the year of the pig or, whatever it might be. And I wonder if you're born in 2025, if it is just the year of Ian Simpson.
I believe that's the case, I think.
There you go.
We've got winners. Do you want them?
I love winners. Let's do the winners. I love it. I asked you, in honor of a woman making the World Series of Poker final table, I asked you how many women cashed at this year's main event.
So as I mentioned, I think between 4 and 5% of the field are women usually in the main event. So we got around about 10,000 entries, didn't we? And around about there. So that is between 400 and 500 female players. I couldn't remember exactly what percentage of the main event field cashed, but if it's 10%, that gives us around 40, 50 players. And so the correct answer is that 48.
That is the
women
exact
cashed.
right answer. It's amazing. Year in and year out, week in, week out, every single day, Nick Wealthall nails it. And this is not a surprise to those of us who know. It's not a surprise. Once again, Nick Wealthall got the answer correct. If you were able to climb inside Nick Wealthall's brain and guess 48 or around 48, well, you might have just won. Nico Poker did quite well, said 49. Well done, Nico Poker. You, my friend, that just won a $109 ticket. And Jedamona somehow, some way, knew exactly that you were going to say 48 because he said 48 also. And we have our winners, Jedamonis and Nico Poker. You have each won a $109 ticket.
Nice.
Make sure you pay attention to your whispers so Hayden can get a hold of you and get you your $109 ticket. Good luck. I hope you turn it into thousands of dollars.
Look at this bluff from Angry. Wow, and it works. Angry gets Angler off top pair. Amazing. Bet folded top pair there.
Maybe this is something on me. I don't fold top pair very often when I'm heads up.
Definitely bet folding top pair is not something you should do a lot of, but Angry Ogre times the aggression to perfection. Pedro's pointed out that the year of Ian Simpson would be the year of a tiny horse up your ass.
There you go. Well done. Well played.
Well played. Lydia says, well done, Nick GPT. Exactly that. A couple of people saying I got the answer wrong because it wasn't their answer. Yeah. I'm sorry. I do that regularly, I know.
Yeah. I mean, if the game were what you think, then Nick would have gotten it wrong.
You would all be experts.
Right. But the game's what Nick thinks.
Exactly.
So we move on. By the way, if you have not won a ticket, we're sorry. We're going to have more giveaways next week in all likelihood. We pretty much have giveaways every single week. So make sure you join us next week for another Magic Monday. And if you're part of the Wheel of Justice spin, don't go anywhere. It's coming soon.
Soon as these two sort this out. This has been quite the squabble, hasn't it? A long battle.
There's under 60 big blinds in play. So you imagine this will come to a conclusion at some point relatively soon. You never know. But we're at that point of the tournament where the chips you figure they're going to go in at some point. We've had a lot of coolers and players just folding big spots. So, and here another one, Anglerfish with top pair versus another pair. It's hard, by the way. I know you probably don't realize it from watching these two players. It's actually hard to hit a pair.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of hands. It's just there hasn't been a big clash with two big hands, so that's why we haven't got all the money in, I think.
Well, I feel like we have had the clash, but these guys just keep folding.
Well, there's that as well. We are also in a world where top pair is not as good as I thought it was heads up, but never mind. There's a top pair winner. And we're back to even stacks, David. Dead even. We could be here for the rest of our lives. Which will finish first, this or the main event? Given that the main event has a day off and doesn't start till tomorrow.
I mean, I was just, you were pointing out that the embers of my youth have been burned out or are burning out. I do feel like there's a distinct chance this might end after I'm dead.
This was one of those switcheroos, this final table, wasn't it? It went very, very fast in the beginning, and then this has been a very long battle.
Yep. Do we make break number 2? We have 5 minutes until these players going on a break.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be close.
I suspect if it does not end, it'll end very shortly after the break. Either way, no matter when it does end, the Wheel of Justice is coming.
Yes. Yes, I've waited long for this. A long week of no Wheel of Justice.
Angry Ogre back in the chip lead again. They have battled and battled. Angry Ogre, by the way, came to this final table 3rd in chips. Anglerfishy came into the final table 8th in chips. They were our short stack. Again, Angry Ogre looking to win tournaments in back-to-back days. The 5 of diamonds would be a particularly interesting card.
That is a very astute comment. I agree. Nobody's betting their flush draw.
No, I mean, the ace high...
They've gone into their shells, haven't they? The last 15 minutes, they've really gone very tight, these two.
Yeah, somebody needs to give the memo. You can't climb the pay scale. Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
there it is. The 5 of diamonds.
You called the 5 of diamonds. Unbelievable.
That is crazy. Now, there's going to be a small bet here and a raise, and I would imagine a fold, right? I mean...
I don't know. I imagine, only because Angry Ogre doesn't think Angler bluffs in these spots, right? But Queen of Diamonds, folding Queen of Diamonds is still a big fold. Oh, it's not that much money. It's not that much money.
Yeah, but you lose to the ace, the king, the 3, and the 8.
You do. Straight flush on board.
Wow. Angry Ogre just keeps battling and keeps walking into it. I like the value bet with the queen. Unfortunately for them, they do get raised, and they make the good fold.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm folding that, but then again, I'm thinking that I'm getting bluffed sometimes, which maybe, as we've discussed, they don't think they are getting bluffed.
Yeah.
Against the player.
I mean, you could make the argument that they're not even, somebody's not raising with the king. It's just the ace, the 8, and the 3.
Well, I mean, but if there's like no bluffs, that's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because on we go.
On we go, yes.
A straight flush is not enough. Straight flush versus a queen high flush wasn't enough to get the money in, David.
No,
how are we going to get the money in?
I think this is certainly going to go to we're going to have a 2-break Magic Monday, everybody, it looks like.
With an entire level, an entire hour of heads up. Don't think we've done that before.
Raising again here with a pair of jacks. Again, under 60 big blinds in play. Pair of deuces versus absolutely nothing.
Paul updating us live from Vegas. Ian's doubled up. He's currently 4th out of 48 on a bracelet run.
This is impressive.
Yeah, it's cool.
Paul's, is it being live streamed anywhere? Or are you just watching? Are you getting all the news from Poker News? I assume it's not being live streamed because the main event's going on. So I know the staff there. So I'd be very surprised if it was being live streamed.
Okay. Will Angry Ogre shove here? Because I think Angler will call.
There's the all-in. There's a call. This could be it. Wow, I did not see this coming. The river is the 3 of hearts, the 9's hold, and we do have a winner. Anglerfishy comes from the basement. They enter this final table 8th in chips, doubled up early, and they end up winning it all. Ooh, a $500 bounty on top of it. They get to keep their own.
Nice.
Really nice. The last 2 bounties. Wow, another $640 on top. So Angry Ogre is going to take home about $7,000 when it's all said and done. Angler Fishy, though, going to take home over $8,000 and the title. What a final. I was sure we were going to make the second break, but King Jack versus nines, it all goes in pretty, and the nines hold. Wow.
Yeah, a really long heads-up battle. Well done to both of them for keeping fighting. But Angler Fishy looked destined to win this tournament for a little while, pulled a lot of big hands, which is what you need to do at a final table. Definitely helps a lot. Well done to them. Well done to both players. That was fun. Let's do a poker wheel of justice, David.
Let's do a wheel of justice. It's a great idea. Okay. This is very easy, guys. You get your name on the wheel, and you must be here. You got to be in the chat. Very simple game. We're going to give away 2 $109 tickets. Are you ready, Nick?
I'm ready.
Why don't you say the magic words?
The magic words that make me a happy, happy boy, and it's going to make somebody very happy. Spin the wheel. Round 2 turns, you must be in chat to win. And it looks like a slightly less congested wheel this week, so bigger chance to win. Sentenced Fish, I sentence you to a $109 ticket.
Oh, that was fancy. Was that just on my screen, or was that on your screen as well?
Yeah, that was fancy. It's like a new effect.
Wow, nice job, Hayden.
Sentenced Fish says, yes, they are here, and they are a winner.
Yes, yes. You are sentenced, my friend, to go play a $109 tournament. Well done, you. Good job. Let's spin it again, baby.
One more winner tonight on Magic Monday. Who's it going to be? You must have been good this week, or the wheel won't pick you. And you must be in chat. And you are. Oh, I know this person is in chat. I've already seen them.
Yeah! Look at that. No respins today. Dire Restraints is definitely there. We saw them like 4 minutes ago. Hopefully they didn't just walk out for a second, right?
Well, the worst one is if you fall asleep at your keyboard.
Oh, God.
And then you wake up and you
won.
Oh, there they are.
Woohoo! They are there. So congratulations, Dire Restraints. Congratulations, Sentence Fish. And, of course, congratulations to our winner of the tournament, Angler Fishy, who won our 100K Mystery Bounty main event. Good luck to Ian Simpson, of course, who was chasing a bracelet in Vegas. For Nick Wealthall, for everybody here at 8 Day Poker, I am David Tuckman. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Good night.